So, goal number 1, emergency management plan, business continuance plan, disaster recovery plan. What are the differences, okay? So, the emergency management plan, the way that I like to think about it is this way. You're back in 3rd grade in school, and the bully of the school in 5th grade, Bob, goes and pulls a fire alarm. Where do you go? Everybody has a certain place where they have to go, where they have to meet. Every classroom goes outside, whether it's the parking lot or the bus lot or wherever, right? Everybody goes somewhere. That's what emergency management plan is for. When you have an emergency, what do we do? Think of it in that way. What do we do when that emergency occurs, right? So, most emergency management plans are designed around the facility and the safety of the facility, the safety of the people in the facility, guarding the assets of the facility, you know, based on the severity of the incident, and what are the first steps we need to do to stop the problem, right? Which could vary drastically. If we got batteries that are going bad and are going to start on fire, that's one thing. If it's a compartmentalized to a little area, it's a whole lot different than if the roof is suddenly gone because of a hurricane, right? There's different steps and things you're going to do. One of the key things for this, and a question I like to ask, is how many of you have documented standard operating procedures for all of your infrastructure? A few hands? Okay. That is going to be critical in an emergency management plan and a disaster recovery plan. Okay. And documented can be in a computer system, you know, in the cloud, in 3 different other areas, or 3 different people have it. I still would recommend you have one printed hard copy somewhere locked up, because what if there's no power or internet? Everybody forgets that. Oh, I don't need to print one anymore. You still need to print. Okay. So that's what an emergency management plan is about. When something happens, what do? Business continuance plan. So the business continuance plan is something has happened. We've had an emergency. Now, how do we continue the business operations? Okay? Which are things like, am I going to talk to the news or not? Is this going to become public? Who do I call in my calling list? What executives need to know down to what level people within the company need to know? Where are we going to send people? Okay? It has nothing really to do about the data center or the technical side. It has to do with the people side of running the business and where everything goes from the business. That's a business continuance plan. It's how do we continue business operations? What are the steps we're going to go through? Okay? And then the third one that we're going to talk about today is disaster recovery plan. So we've had a disaster. Everybody went to the right place out on the playground. We all survived. We're back in here. We're going to continue. Now, how do we recover? Okay? Recovering from a disaster. That's the key. We've already had it. Nothing we can do about it. Past is past. But now I've got to recover and get the business up and going. Okay? So, you definitely have to have policies and procedures. You have to have recovery plans, okay? So, and those recovery plans have to minimize the impact of the disaster on your business, on your organization, no matter what that is, okay? And I'll talk about the different types of plans that you have to have. But there's different steps that you have to restore, which the infrastructure has to be restored first. So our data center facility and our data center compute are the first 2 things that have to be recovered. Okay? How many of you in here, if email went off on your phone after 10 minutes, you'd be kind of frustrated? Huh? A lot of people would be, right? Right there, pointing at each other. You guys can't decide, huh? One's 4 minutes, one's 5 minutes. Right? But I mean, so think of that. But email's in the data center. It's in the servers. It's connected to the data center. Everybody's organization goes through it somehow, right? Well, you might be in Office 365 in the cloud, but if a Microsoft data center goes down and it doesn't replicate to another, you're out of email. Everybody would panic, okay? So you've got to understand how to recover all the infrastructure before I can even bring up the email. I can't bring the email up if I don't have the facility running. I can't bring the email up if I don't have power, if I don't have cooling, if I don't have network, if I don't have servers, if I don't have storage, right? It all has to be there to get there. So that's what we're going to talk about, are what are those steps that you would go through to recover after the case of a disaster. That's what the focus is today. Okay? Any questions so far? Okay.